Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Freedom Fridays with Dana Lee. I'm your host. Welcome back. Or maybe I should be welcoming myself back because I took a decent amount of time off. And that's what we're going to be talking about today in today's Freedom Friday. So if you are new to my community, welcome. I am the diet recovery coach. I help women heal from the damage of dieting when you've been dieting for decades and now you're left with emotional eating, binge eating, dysfunctional eating, body image issues. None of that actually was resolved from dieting, and it's only gotten compounded and worse. So what I do with my clients is I help them see the path of recovery, and that it is a path, right? It's committing to healing yourself and recovering from that, because there's a lot of damage that's done. So if you're here with me live, say hello. I'm just going to pull this up on Facebook because I want to be able to see all my comments. If you're here live, say hello, say hello. And if you're on the replay, hashtag replay. All right. So, volume down there. All right. Okay. Excellent. Hey, Michelle. Hello. Awesome. Dawn. Hello. So I took some significant time off. And if you are a type A, go type of person, or you have that in your history, or a bit of a perfectionist, or maybe you have a history of like being a bit of a workaholic, or working hard, you have a work hard kind of ethic, this topic I think is going to be really, really helpful for you, because that's some of me, or I would say a reformed part of me. So I shared in my last video that I went live that, the whole overturning of Roe v. Wade hit me pretty hard, and in a way that I did not expect. I live in the state of New Jersey. I'm 46. Like, I'm pretty much I'm protected where I am, and it's not so much a personal issue for me. So that was so confusing to me. Like, why is this impacting me so hard? And I had tears. It hit me like with deep sadness, and I didn't understand all of it. I'm not somebody who's typically a crier. It's not that I'm holding back tears. I don't, not that sensitive or emotional in that way. So for me to have these overwhelming, like welling up of tears out of at some random parts of my day, was very bizarre for me. And I was like, okay, it was definitely a cause for pause of like, what's really happening here? What does this mean? Why is it so important to me? So what happened was I had a business trip planned. And typically I love traveling. I mean, I put this business trip on the calendar maybe in February. And it was actually the first business trip I was going to take since beginning before the pandemic. I've been traveling and doing other things like for fun. And, Steve and I went on a cruise to Bermuda. We went to Dominican Republic in May. I have a couple of trips planned on the calendar for vacations and getaways. But a business trip is different. Like, it's a different focus, and it was, and I love them. I thrive off of them, like being around super empowered people who are up to amazing things in life. Yeah, sign me up. More of that, please, because then I can empower my community, right? If I'm a better business person and a better leader, then it's only going to help you. It's going to help you heal your food issues. It can help me reach more women who are hurting. So all that to be said, I felt like, hell yes, I'm really excited about this. Then this happened where I had this overwhelming feeling of sadness. And I shared in my last Freedom Friday how it's interesting to see when we're put up against, and this is what my clients come to me and share as well, when we're put up against certain incidences in our life, that you can look back and see in retrospect, like, I didn't use food to handle that. Isn't that interesting? So rather than being in the moment to try to manipulate food and think like I have to stop my binge eating and focus on this strategies and tactics and tips around that in the moment, I have a completely different way that I work and how I work with my clients. And it really has to do more with all the context around what's happening with our food behavior. It's really how are you showing up in your everyday life, in between your emotional eating, in between the binge eating, in between your need to restrict or control, or like all of a sudden you're feeling this overwhelming, I hate my body today, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat. Like in between that stuff, that's where the answers are. That's where the gold is for you to heal. So I had an interesting comment on my YouTube channel last time I did that was like, well, there was a lot of fluff. Like, you didn't get into, the topic for like 15 minutes or something, like, it took you a while. And I was like, thanks for sharing. I've been producing content for 14 years, so I'm pretty good at getting to the topic. And what if the topic is all of this stuff in between the actual points that I share with you? Because that's how you're going to heal your relationship with food. It's all the other stuff of how you're handling your life. How are you handling your life? That is how you're going to heal your relationship with food. So that brings me to my strategic decision to take time off and cancel my trip to Arizona. And that's kind of unlike me. That is like, I'm used to powering through. I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to keep going. That's what I do. When I had a business years ago, Evolution Health and Fitness, some of my people know me from that. Some of my followers are still following me from all those years ago. But that was really rough for me. That was really fucking traumatic. It was through the recession. I was hanging on for dear life, white knuckling everything, and it just got like ripped away from me. And it was so painful. And yet, what did I do? I put my head down and I kept working. I was like, I got to do the next thing. So here I am in this moment, feeling this really deep, overwhelming sadness over the last few weeks, at this, like, knowing this trip is going to come up and I don't want to go. And I'm like, this is odd, because I'm typically like solution oriented. I need to pull myself out of this. Let me get around people who are up to great things and it'll give me business ideas and pull me out of this and rah, rah, rah. And I had the opposite thing happen inside of me, where I was like, I don't want to go. So I canceled my trip. I canceled the flight, and now we have flight credits, which Steve and I will most certainly use, and no penalization with the hotel. And to be honest, the ticket, $500 for the ticket, I kind of felt like, okay, so maybe this dude can credit me for something else I may, a product or something I might purchase from him in the past. And sure enough, that's what he did. So although I didn't get my refund from it, I was like, okay, that's cool, because I really like this dude who is hosting this event. I really like his vibe. So what happened? I did not say, okay, I'm home. I'm going to fill my schedule. Like Thursday's a typical day that I work with private clients. And I did not say, oh, I'm home now. Let me just fill my schedule. You know what I did on last Thursday? I watched Netflix all day. And I didn't even feel guilty about it. Like, I was being very strategic. Like, holy crap, my nervous system cannot take doing the things. And I'm very fortunate to have a super supportive assistant. And she's like, Dana, I'm here if you need me. Do you want me to cover your class on Saturday morning? What do you need me to do? And all the things that would normally pile up and I would feel guilty or bad about, I just said, like, I actually even cleared my calendar on Tuesdays. I have group calls with my clients, and I was honest with them. I said, you guys, I'm really sad today. Like, for the first time, I was like, I cannot hold this space today because I'm in such great sadness and I need to take today off. All of my clients were so supportive of that. It was actually how I was like, that's how I show up to be the best leader that I am, because I eat my own cooking, I guess you could say. I had a business coach say that to me, and I was like, very on par for the topic that I teach. I eat my own cooking. In that, I'm never going to tell you guys to do something I don't do. I don't do it in fitness. I don't do it in my fitness coaching and exercises and all of that stuff. If I'm not able to do it, I don't give it to you to do. It's like I'm very much in alignment with that and in integrity with that. For years, it's just part of how I teach and how I show up and who I am. So, that alignment important to me, but it's also something that's somewhat effortless in a way to do because it feels so natural to do it that way. And sure enough, my whole community was just super supportive, like, take the time. So that is why I wanted to do this today. My Freedom Friday videos are designed to help give you freedom in your mind. That's where we need it. Freedom's cultivated from within. And it's interesting when we have this topic of Roe v. Wade and feeling like, this is a huge backslide and our freedoms are taken away from us. So what can we do? We can look inside to feel, where can I cultivate freedom for myself right now in this moment in my life? Like, where can that start from within, and all the different ways that freedom can show up in my life? And I was free to choose that it was important for me and strategic for me to take time off and not fill it with the things. And here are a few things that I did do. I guess if you could say I was doing something. And I thought it would be really helpful to share with you because for some reason, we have a hard time. Women feel really guilty for taking time off. People need me. I have this whole list of things, these priorities. However, when you don't take strategic time off, what happens? It's usually you're forced to take time off. It can come in the form of an injury. It can come in the form of illness. It can come in the form of some other external thing that happens, a tragedy, an event, some chaos in your life that forces everything to come to a screeching halt. So rather than getting to that point, stay in your power and you be the one to decide, I'm taking a couple days off and I give 0 fucks. And the rest of the world can wait. Because otherwise, if we don't do that, it just compounds and creates more and more of a problem. So since we talk about food freedom here, what do you think is going to happen with your relationship to food when you deny yourself the time off that your nervous system needs? And there's an inside part of you that cares more about other people's approval. You care more about the need to be needed. There's other underlying things going on there that rule the show. So when you're able to recognize that, and that's what I do with my clients, we uncover a lot of that stuff. So that way we can take a look and like pull it apart and be like, is that even true? Or do I even still want to operate that way? So when you can start to peel some of those layers away and really see, the freedom with food will come when you honor what it is you really need and taking the time off as opposed to plowing through. What do you think the choices are going to be and how you actually use food to cope? So this whole time I've had off, because I've done so much work and the work I share, the path, I don't hold anything back when you work with me one-to-one or in my group, that over time, that is the side effect is, oh, isn't that interesting? I don't need to go to food to help me through this. I'm not afraid of my feelings as much anymore. I wasn't afraid to say, like, I'm deeply sad. I wasn't afraid to share that with my husband. I wasn't afraid to cry on his shoulder. I wasn't afraid to reach out to my friends and cry in front of them and allow them to support me. I wasn't afraid to do any of that. And because I worked on not being so afraid of my feelings, what happened? I ate when I was hungry and I would still go out to meet my friends for dinner. And I enjoy food. Food is a huge part of our culture and social interaction and how we relate to each other. It's just not how I just don't use it as a coping mechanism anymore. It lets me down. It's like, I'm going to look to food to try to fix this thing that it will never fix. And I'm like, so that's what I help my clients with. So a few things I want to share with you. One is that be purposeful and strategic about your time off, because if you don't, then the universe will have its way of pulling that rug out from under you and forcing the time off. But here's the problem with that. So many times then when that happens, oh my God, this happened to me. This sucks. And there's so much resistance around that frustration of feeling like it's a setback that the entire gift is being lost. That of like, holy shit, I've got time off. Okay, I'm laid up with this ankle issue or whatever's going on. Like, I mean, maybe you are down with the flu, or maybe you get COVID, like maybe. And yet, could there be some grace in there to be like, now this feels like a good reason for me to step back and take time off. So rather than it being done to you, which I still think it's done for you, you be in the driver's seat and you decide, I'm taking 2 days off, and you know what? The world's going to continue to world. The world's not going to fall apart. It's going to be okay. And in fact, the world may even come together. Okay, so I'm getting to that in a moment. So the next thing I want to share, so beside being purposeful and strategic, the next thing I want to share is also making the decision to surrender to what is. So rather than the energy of waiting, like waiting for the answers to come, waiting for the solution to appear, waiting for you to feel better, the power of surrender and letting go. And there's a really awesome book that I do recommend. I recommend to all my clients. I think it's once they get to module, I forget which module it is, module 8 or something. It's called Letting Go, The Path to Surrender. And the author is Dr. David Hawkins. And it is an incredible book on forgiveness and letting go. So along with the surrender, what I did is I did a forgiveness exercise. I set my timer for 20 minutes, which actually wasn't even enough time. I still have a couple pages blank because I want to go back to it. And what I did was a brain dump on all the ways I'm forgiving myself. Dana, I forgive you for. And I just started listing them from when I was a child, how I treated my sister. I mean, all the things. I just started listing them so I could forgive myself. And that lets me surrender into let me get present into what's going on here so I can let go. And when you let go, then you can let in. Now, if anyone's done the Roadmap to Food Freedom with me, that event I've held a couple times here in my Facebook group, in my Life Beyond Dieting Facebook group. Sorry if you're on YouTube, I mean, in the Facebook group. And if you're not in that group, I highly recommend that you become part of it. That in that first day, we work on decluttering. Why do we declutter? That seems like, what the fuck does that have to do with food issues, Dana? Because we got to clear the path to let the good stuff in. And when we're living in clutter, emotional clutter, mental clutter, physical clutter, we've got to open up. So surrendering and letting go of things is how you actually let other things in. The answers come in. Okay. So that's my second thing. My third thing is to have some sort of energy practice. Now, there's two parts to the energy. It's energy to listen and ground and center yourself. So this could be meditation practice. This could be a breathing exercise you do. This could be something that you're going to get quiet and listen, not pray. Praying is part of it because that's asking for help. But the listening and connecting is more about like getting into your center and your own truth. Like so many women I talk to, they don't know what it's like to trust themselves around food. And that's because you have a hard time trusting yourself around intuition. And this is why I did my video months ago on why intuitive eating is not as helpful in the front stages of healing your relationship with food. You can go back and watch that. I want to say it's from like November or something like that. But to listen and actually sit with yourself is so wise. Your body's wise. Your body's going to teach you and show you things. You're going to have the space for ideas to come in. You will feel much better and more confident going into the next thing. Even if you feel sad and angry and all the things, there's something in that centering that's a really, really important part of the process. So that's one part of an energy practice. The other part is more about like letting that diffuse, like that excess energy, like anxiety and things like that, like dispelling it. So hiking, getting out in nature, walking. I love lifting. Lifting is like a huge component for my life right now. And it's not for any calorie burn. It's way, way, way bigger than that. I'm lifting for so many other reasons. It feels so good to feel strong. It feels good to have a method to actually like let that extra energy out. So that is super helpful and really healing for me. And side effect, I get strong. It's like, okay, well, that's now like the side effect thing rather than like the first thing that I'm like, focusing on. I just keep showing up and like giving it my best that day and whatever that best looks like. Right. So that is definitely part of my energy practice. For some people, it's like yoga, or it's rock climbing, or it's getting on your mountain bike, or which actually, like, even my husband and I went out motorcycle riding. So being on my motorcycle, we have intercom so we can talk. Being on my motorcycle is actually another way. I mean, sometimes we don't talk at all. We just ride in silence. And that is another way that I go in. That's like really another grounding exercise for me, because it feels so good to be on my motorcycle and out there and just taking it all in and being so focused on the road and being present. It's a really, really great practice for me. So I would consider motorcycle riding part of my energy practice, believe it or not. So another thing I want to share is when you're processing emotions and you're feeling a lot of stuff going on, staying hydrated is really important. And not like, I see people carrying like gallons of water around. Adequate. We have to start learning and tuning into our own bodies. Adequate water, adequate protein, adequate, not excess, not some calculation somebody else is telling you. And like, no, because too much of anything is going to be harmful. Too little of anything could be harmful, right? So it's like, how do you find your Goldilocks position? So here, water. I always say to my clients, this is thirsty work. Because processing emotion, let it out, sweat it out, move it through your system. If you're dehydrated, it's going to be slow and sluggish and headachy and all the other things that get you distracted from actually letting that stuff go. Okay. You guys with me still? All right. Awesome. Sweet. Oh, Michelle, you were able to eat breakfast today. Yay. Celebrating you. Fabulous. Look at that. Awesome. And then let's see. Yeah. So then my mom chiming in here. Hi, Mom. Mom's coming in from the YouTube channel. She said, wow, you're right. If I use food as a coping mechanism, it will fail me. That's a huge hidden fact of life. That's so true. It's like, oh my God, I'm a failure. Well, what if we're looking to the thing that it's failing you? Because it's not designed to work that way. It's not designed to be an emotional crutch. So that's why, like, I help my clients break up with their belief that there's something wrong with them. And it's like, oh, now I see what's going on. So it's a different type of relationship you have. And it almost like another way to honor food and really respect it and really like see it for what it is and the power that is in your life, not over you, but because you have the power, because now you're understanding, oh, these are ways that I'm, addressing my emotions. I'm not so afraid to look anymore. Okay. So almost there, you guys. So I like to keep this under about a half an hour. So we got a few minutes left, and I just want to tie up our topic today with where I am now that I have taken the time off. So this is the part that's getting really juicy. Like, why would you even take time off? Why would you take the bold move, take the stand, draw the line in the sand and say, okay, I'm taking time off and I'm surrendering and I'm going to get into some energy practice. So why would you even do that? Well, what ended up happening to me is I was very much in this like stuck place of like, I don't know what's going on and I don't know the next steps, right? And I wanted to force that. Hey, Harry, neighbor. So I wanted to force that, and that didn't feel good. But I was also in that pattern of keeping my head down. So two amazing things happened. One is that an opportunity came along that I was able to actually see that was right under my nose for months. And I did not even acknowledge it. I didn't honor it as an opportunity. I was so busy, go, 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 do, that it is kind of mind blowing that I was dismissing it, and I was like, holy crap, like this could be huge. Now, I'm in the process of exploring this opportunity, right? So perhaps it comes to something, perhaps it doesn't. My point is, it's the evidence to show me the reward of why, like, why would you take time off? Well, this is why, because you're rewarded. You are always rewarded for taking the time off for your nervous system to rest. And I'm going to give you a quick example before I get on to my second reward as to after taking this time off. The quick example is exercise. So if you lift 7 days a week, you will be sore. Your muscles are going to continue to break down. You're not going to be able to recover. You're going to feel setbacks. You're going to get injuries. If, however, you decide I'm going to lift 3 times a week and I'm going to build in days in between my lifting routine strategically, because I understand the power of those rest days. The days that I'm not lifting are some of the greatest gifts I can give my body, because that's where the magic happens that I can't see. The magic of the muscles repairing after I tore them down from lifting. It's how we actually rebuild, get stronger, and tune our body for the next session. You repair, you rebuild, you get stronger, you tune, next session. So this is the same for your mental well-being. This is the same. You are rewarded by taking some strategic time off. So the other thing I want to share before I tie it up for today is that I had developed this product, the coffee carry-on, right? And I had done a video on that like months ago. It is here. It's in my Facebook group. So it's basically, so we applied for a patent. We got a patent on it. Very excited. My little plaque is hanging in my living room. So it is basically this device that allows you to bring a cup of coffee on an airplane, and it's made of cardboard. And I designed it along with my husband. We kind of engineered it, and it is really a fun product. Like, I'm very excited about it. It's so different from, like, I've been in the service industry for so many years, and this is so different and fun. And yet COVID happened, and then all the planes got grounded. So the airplane thing wasn't happening, or it was, but then, so I just shifted focus, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to like let this sit on the back burner. I do want to do something with it. It just requires more of my attention. I'm not sure yet what. So part of, after taking this break, another idea I had was I'm re-inspired to revisit actually launching this product at this point, because what happened with Roe v. Wade has inspired me to get more involved with how can I be part of more of the solution? How can I be more of a support to women who are hurting and need help and need support and all of that stuff. And what I love about this idea, like relaunching or launching the coffee carry-on proper, is that I want it to be a mission-driven business. So it's woman-owned. Yes, it's a fun product, but I really want the proceeds and a big part of the company to be put towards reproductive health for women and the access to proper healthcare for every woman. So that's exciting to me. Now it's like re-enlivening this thing that's like, okay, this was just like a product that's fun. And now there's like a greater purpose and meaning to it that is going to help me be part of this bigger solution, as to, like, we have this huge backslide in our country. And I'm like, okay, now let me wrap my head around it. Now, what can I do to be part of that solution in an effective way? So I had a couple of these things come to me, an opportunity right under my nose. And so I have a phone call later today to tighten up some details on that. So I'll keep you guys posted. And then my coffee carry-on, and being, now my business already, if you become a member or you're a client of mine, I donate to 2 different organizations. One of them is the Ocean Cleanup Project, and then the other one is called Grow a Row. And this is where this organization brings farm food to the underprivileged, poverty. So you actually have healthy, whole food that is available and accessible to all. And And those are two areas that, feel very strongly about the environment, and hence the coffee carry-on with the cardboard and no plastic, and you can recycle it and reuse it and all that good stuff. But also then, food scarcity and access to healthy whole food. That's also super important to me. And now I'm just adding on this other level of women's reproductive rights, and how I believe so strongly that it is the woman's right to choose. It's a personal decision between her and her doctor, and she has a right to be safe with that decision. And I want to do whatever I can to support that. So that's it, you guys. All right. So I'm right on that 30-minute mark. This is our topic for today, taking strategic time off. So awesome. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Michelle. Everyone was here. Sindhu, Paulina, good to see you guys. Dee. So thanks for being here today. And I really love to hear from you. What's going on like with you taking time off? Do you have a hard time with that? Please share in the comments. And Crystal, hello. So just real quick before I complete our video today, I do have a virtual dinner party coming up this week. It's on Wednesday, July 20th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is a really fun get together online to connect with other women who are also dealing with all sorts of food issues. I've been messaging privately about like emotional eating specifically, but I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter what the dysfunctional relationship is with food. You are welcome into the conversation, because what I'm doing, how I set this up, is I'm proposing questions for you. So you get to answer that in your unique situation. So do you restrict food? Do you have food rules? Do you feel do you have some other health issue around food, like maybe diabetic, and now like I'm eating these foods that aren't good for me, and it's like all those things. All of it counts, and you are welcome to attend. Okay, so if you have not received the RSVP in like your Facebook Messenger, if I haven't reached out to you or you want to be included in this, please comment VDP, like virtual dinner party, and then I will make sure I private message you to get you that RSVP form, so that way you can be informed in my email campaign, and your Zoom link will be sent to you. Okay, that's the only way you're getting the Zoom link. It's a private invite. It's a very safe space. We have breakout rooms where you have private conversations with other women who are on the same page as you. So it's a really powerful event. I'm excited. This is going to be my second one, and I would really, really love for you to be there. Or if you think there's another woman in your life who maybe would want to join you, so you can kind of dissect this topic together, then that would be awesome. And I would love to have them, and I would love to meet them. So just comment VDP and I will send you that RSVP. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for hearing all the context around that is so important for you to hear, not just getting to the bullet points. Dana, can you just get to the point? If that is you, then I don't think we're a good match. Like, I don't think my community can really help you, because so much of your food issues are going to be solved in the context outside the food thing. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you continue to just focus on the food, it keeps you in the problem. And that is not what I'm doing for you, my community, or the world. I am serving a greater purpose to help you pull out of that so you can actually solve it and heal from it. All right. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of the community. I look forward to seeing you on my virtual dinner party during the week. And if not this one, then comment anyway, and perhaps another one in the future. And all right, I'll see you guys next week.